our video. This is Cater Wood.
And this is Chrestman.
And we're planning for the diversity of learners. Cater?
Yes, Anna.
What's our video supposed to be about again?
Well, our video is about Tier 1 interventions.
And what's Tier 1 intervention?
Let's find out. Well, Anna, Tier 1 intervention is a 3-step process of RTI.
I remember that. RTI means response to intervention.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's like whenever you are screening students to see possibly if they may need extra assistance in their classroom, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I guess we need to focus a little bit more on the actual Tier 1.
Yeah, that's a good idea because that's where our project's on. So let's see what.
Okay.
So, of this RTI, the Tier 1 is where we're focusing on. Tier 1 intervention is broken up into 5 components. The first being physical setting, then rules and procedures, third motivation, fourth curriculum design, and the fifth family and community.
And family and community is what we're mainly going to focus on. And within that, we're kind of going to bring in number 2 and 3, rules and procedures, and motivation.
Well, Anna, now that we're on family and community, what does it make you think of?
Being social, like being around people.
Exactly. Well, what person or theorist do we learn about in Dr. Gaynor's class that reminds you of that?
Vygotsky was definitely the social dude.
Yeah, Vygotsky. Exactly. Did you know Vygotsky, he was all about social because he believed that if you work with other people, you can achieve a lot more.
I totally agree with him. I like that dude.
I do too. Of the first 5 components, we chose to do family and community. So Anna, which one would you like to start with?
We're kind of by family. Let's just do family.
Okay then. Alright.
Some families that help you a lot and some that don't, and that can really be an inhibitor somewhat in your classroom.
Definitely. A prime example of this is in Gloria Ladson-Billings' book, The Dream Keepers. She says that, or she interviewed someone that said when she was teaching that a lot of her parents were hindering their kids and they were being roadblocks. And unfortunately, that is the case in some places, but not all. Anna, what was your, like growing up, how were you? How was your family?
Well, my parents, they were very supportive. They always stood by the teacher. They made me realize that certain aspects of school that was my thing to deal with. That they helped teach me responsibility, and they were able to help discipline me along with the teachers. They had a very close-knit relationship with most of my teachers so that they could hold me accountable, and the teacher usually didn't have to worry about me a whole lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, my family was kind of the same way, but I actually had a friend that wasn't so lucky, and his parents were not involved, and he didn't have the same privileges that I had. So I was very fortunate to have a family that supported me.
Well, hearing your story, it kind of made me think about a girl that I grew up with, and I'm guessing your friend, was his parents very intentional? Did they get very involved with the teachers?
Not really. They were kind of distant. They just really didn't care. They just kept to themselves and let him fend for himself.
Well, in this girl's situation, her family was almost overly involved. Her mom always wanted to know exactly what she was doing, and a lot of times she even did her homework for her instead of letting her child fail so that she could learn. And so she struggled whenever she got into the higher classes, and even in college she's had a little more trouble. But that was really unfortunate to see both sides.
Oh, for sure. I think in your case, I think it's called a helicopter parent that just hovers around, doesn't let their kids do anything, doesn't let them make their own decisions, but when they get older, they don't know how to. So there's a thin line between the two.
It's very important to definitely have a healthy balance. So within our families, we've both had really, really good experiences, and it's really helped us build good relationships with people, especially like in groups. Like at my home, we always ate dinner together at the table, and it really helped. I had to learn to get along with my sister, and a lot of times we butted heads, but dealing with her has helped me learn to deal with hard-headed people. So that's definitely not. That's really helped me a lot. So
Oh, definitely. I think it really helps cooperate. How do you say it?
cooperate.
That's right. See, using teamwork. But it really does help having your family there to help you along, to make you, even if you don't want to sometimes, to work with each other and to work within each other. And that allows scaffolding towards working with the group or with the community. But how do you think that helps you learning rules and procedures?
So my dad was he was an administrator, and so he's very imperative on us going to school and being there all the time. We never were allowed to miss anything unless it was for another school function, and unless you were about to die, pretty much. So he really helped along with rules and procedures because he made sure that we were always there. He made sure that if I ever got in trouble at school, I'd get in trouble again at home, and so that really encouraged me to make sure and stay on my best behavior and to respect my teachers, and he held me to that standard. And so it was really important for us to learn about how our families were and how supportive they are at the same time. The only reason why they were so hard on us was because they cared about us and they wanted us to grow up to be better, and so that was the reason why.
And I can really see if you don't have parents like that how that really could affect you, and that really can affect within your own family in the future and with your community, how that really can unbalance how you think about things.
Absolutely. So I guess we can talk about community now, since we've learned how families can really help build that bond, build that relationship. So just like families can have a positive or negative role, so can communities. Communities, there's lots of individuals, but that's what makes it all grow together. So one way that it can be negative is, I know of a school system that they had a very high dropout rate, and it was so unfortunate that I went to like a few of their basketball games and things like that, and there was little community support. Like if you went around town to some of the local businesses, they usually didn't have like go sports team or whatever. But at the same time, like I'm curious if they had that, would it have made a difference? I know like if you went around my local town, there was all the businesses usually had our sports teams posters up and had everything else, and so that was one way that the community really poured into us. We got to do lots of trips around downtown and things like that and meet within the community. So
I can completely agree. I remember at Hoover, we used to have, for football games, we used to have 15,000, 16,000 people show up for the bigger games. And that's a lot of people. But imagine not having but 10 or 12. And we went to some places and they only had about 10 or 12 just because their parents, maybe not that they didn't care, but they didn't show up.
It's hard to want to play whenever nobody's going to support you.
It's true.
And even in the classroom, if no one's going to tell you good job for doing well on your test or anything like that, it's really, really hard to keep putting in that effort.
Well, it's just like college now, like, our community within our friend groups and within like teachers or anyone, when you do a good job, it's nice to know that you do a good job. If no one tells you, what's the point of doing it?
Exactly. But that's one of those extrinsic motivators that we have. External, excuse me. External motivators that we have, and that really, it becomes almost an internal thing because you really don't know, like, if I have no self-confidence, then I'm definitely not going to want to do it.
Well, I remember back in high school, I had a teacher named Miss Norris, and I loved her to death. She cared about me. She invested a lot of time into me, and she's really a big reason I want to be a teacher. And so I can do that to another student. And I just think it's really important for communities to be there.
Absolutely. And
a big reason they're important, and Gloria Lass and Billing would agree, is that they can help you in times of need. One of the teachers she, observed and wrote about in her book was Miss Julia Devereaux. And she's a fourth grade teacher, and she loved the community. She would get things together, do different events just for the parents and for all the kids to join. It was really hard for her at first, but she kept pushing it, and eventually it got to be a pretty big thing. Well, Fortunately for her, she had built that community and she built that respect within each other. And one night, one of her students got lost, and they called the whole community together. And after about 5 or 6 hours, they eventually found her that night. And so I thought it was a really cool thing.
If she hadn't had that community, there's no telling where that little girl would be. We never know when those things are going to come in handy. We never know how impactful they may be.
So Anna, what does it mean to use the community in our classrooms?
Well, one way that one of my teachers did, she brought in a scientist from Mississippi State. He was a researcher of yams and sweet potatoes, so that was kind of cool. But she brought them in to help motivate us, to make us a little more interested in what we were learning. So that'd be an awesome way to get students interested. It could even create a bond. Like if Cater he was a coach and I may have wanted to be a coach, then I could come talk to him. Or if he was a lumberjack, and some guy in the classroom wanted to be a lumberjack, he could come talk to him and find out more about it. And so that would really be encouraging to students to see that there's more opportunities than they may realize out there.
I think so.
Job as teachers is to bring new people into the classroom and let them be introduced, almost like show and tell.
I think so.
I don't think we ever grow up too old for show and tell.
Never.
So within family and community, it's really important, and they help you build relationships, both individually, one-on-one, and as a whole with a lot of people. And so, like in family, they help you become who you are. They can help discipline you. They can let you not be disciplined. And community can support you, and both help you form groups and help your interpersonal skills and things like that. So it's really important how family and communities get involved with schools. It's kind of like a culture, like we were talking about in that other school, how the community wasn't involved. Like no parents showed up for the games. It was kind of disheartening for the students, and for the athletes.
In our schools, they did, but that just shows you that schools they're completely appropriate cultures.
Absolutely.
And that it's not just I guess your religion or what you believe in, or race or ethnicity. Your culture can be your school.
I'll tell you one thing, it was a big deal whenever I started dating somebody from another school, because they were the Bulldogs and we were the Warriors. We just didn't come together. It'd be like I don't know. It'd be like coming from another country, getting used to their town and their traditions, and then vice versa. Whenever he came to some of the ball games at my old high school, it was just...
I can remember that, because I remember we said that schools are cultures, but think about the difference, what Anna just said, the cultures between two different places. Imagine being from the South and then being from the North, where maybe football's not such a big deal. Come down here, that's not a big thing.
Culture shock!
Yeah, so just think there's tons of different ways to present culture, but schools are a vital role in a culture.
And they're very influenced by family and community, of how they interact together and how they encourage one another is a huge reason of why they are so different, because everywhere you go, it's always going to be different no matter what.
That's so true, Anna. Anna and I would like to thank you for watching our presentation, and we hope that you learned a lot about family and community, and we hope that y'all have a great day.
Don't forget to plan for the diversity of learners.